All right, welcome to the weekend video, weekday video. And here, bullwaves.org. If you like what I do, if you enjoy this, check out. Ow, sorry. Check out bullwaves.org. I'm after knocking it. I'm after walloping my elbow off it. Oh, that's going to bother me now. This whole video. I'm not re-recording though. Here we go. This is possibly the weekend video. It's Thursday morning, but I do owe a video, and I feel like I have been absent for too long again. But we had a major storm a few weeks ago, and that just kind of threw off all plans with the cleanup and all that. But here we are. I'm going to go through the markets, see what's been happening, some quite interesting things, and obviously check out bullwaves.org if you like what I do, and come join the website and get nightly Elliott wave analysis, and not just once every 6 months. Okay. Here we go. It's not every 6 months, but I have been a little bit lax. Let's start on the FX markets. And let's just, are we actually recording? I think we are, yes. All right. I have been tracking this possible impulse wave off the lows. If we go to the daily count here, you'll see it's the wave 1 up into June 23. So that's like it's 18 months ago. It's been long sideways ABC pattern into wave 2. So it's a 1-2 pattern. And recently, I've been looking for a turn up off this wave 2 low. So interestingly enough, the second wave, or wave C of 2, hit a low just at about the 62% retracement level of wave 1, and then started to turn itself, or turn the impedance to the upside again. So here's the 4-hour count. You can see possible 5 waves down into wave 5. That's kind of an expanding wedge to complete the pattern in wave 5 of C of 2. And now we have a possible 5-wave rally with a 3-wave reversal. So a small higher low, quite a large gap lower last week to end the week, but it still holds within the framework for an impulse wave higher. So this week we've kind of rebounded and regained the losses in wave C. So wave 1 has pretty much retraced wave C, and we're looking into wave 2 now. So if this is wave 1 and 2 of 3, then we should hit wave 3 of 3. Maybe Friday, most likely Monday, Tuesday. Depends on how quick we get done with wave 2 here. So criteria for wave 2 is 5-wave rally, obviously, and then a 3-wave correction, and that's what we're working on right now. So let's see how this plays out today. Obviously, the lows have to hold, and then next week we'll be looking higher into wave 3 of 3, which could be quite an interesting one to the upside. Okay, cable is pretty much the same count. It's got 5 waves down to complete wave C of 2, and then we've got a rebound this week. So the internal pattern here is quite good. Also, we've got a, let's get rid of that. We've got a 1-2 pattern. If we've got the hourly count here, you've got a wave 1 rally, so 5 waves up in wave 1. The internal wave 2 here is a little bit, I suppose you could say it's iffy. But I suppose it does count as a running flat with enda diagonal to complete it, but it's not ideal. Let's just put it that way. We do have 5 waves up in wave 3, and we do have 5 waves up in wave 5. So the action of that, we have 5 waves up, and we have a 3-wave retracement with 62% retracement, and we have a rally out in wave 1, which has completely retraced the losses in wave 2. So it's quite a sizable rally in comparison to the previous wave 2 at 1 higher degree. So all signs are pointing up here at the moment. Now we don't know what's going to happen from day to day, but this does look like a 1-2-1-2 rally leading to a third of a third. And if that happens, we could be in for quite a pop. Back up above 128 maybe in wave 3 of 3. So we'll see how that goes over the next few days. Obviously, the wave 2 low here at 122.48 has got to hold. Okay, so dollar yen, I have kind of changed my tune a little bit on dollar yen. It was just the structure of this correction here. I had again been, maybe even against my better judgment, but I had been tracking this as a wave 1-2-1-2. That doesn't seem to be the case right now. So we're still going for a 1-2 rally up and then extension higher into wave 3. So, and again, I know that is a little bit jarring. So why would we have the dollar, rallying against the yen and the dollar failing against the Atlantic pairs, so cable and the euro dollar? I don't know. I can't explain that just yet, but the pattern seems to fit at the moment. And until it doesn't fit, then I'll abandon it. But at the moment, we do seem to have an ABC correction in wave 2. Now, whether that's the wave 1 high or the alternate wave 1 high is correct, it's kind of betwixt and between. It doesn't really matter. We have initial support at 148.56, so that's kind of where I'm eyeing for this correction to complete, and that would be sufficient because that lies down around the 50% retracement anyway. So that Fibonacci kind of component is satisfied with the decline back into that level. So about 148, let's say, for wave C of 2 to complete, kind of tracking that lower, the last tracking this decline in a second wave over the last few weeks, but tracking a third of wave C, wave 3 of wave C at the moment. And we will see. I mean, we're looking lower for the next, probably 3 or 4 days anyway. As long as we hit like that 148.50 level, that'd be sufficient. That would be sufficient. I'd be happy enough with that. And that would complete wave C of 2, and then we'd look higher into wave 3. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, the Dow again challenging the tops. This alternate count could be applied right now, which calls this recent rally wave 5 of C, but we haven't hit a new top yet, so technically it's still open for a 1-2. However close to the however close to the bone, the invalidation point that is right now. But technically we haven't hit a new high, so we'll see how that goes. It still could be wave 4 and 5 completing, and then we'd look lower after that. So this would be, immediately this is the alternate count, but it's 50-50 at the moment. Flip a coin, see how it goes. You can see the challenge of the previous wave 3. I think it came within about 30 pips on the cash market here. This is a derivative chart that I'm following, so it's pretty much a spot on triple top at the moment. But about 30 pips or 30 points, sorry. It came to making a new high with wave 3. So on the hourly count, I'm still kind of sticking with that alternate, the main view, which is wave 1 down and wave 2 up. So foolish. I may be foolish, but I can't help it at this moment in time. Just gonna have to see how this resolves. To be honest, against my desire, my ultimate desire to see this charade actually top out. That doesn't really matter. I just have to let it go where it goes. My complaining about it or my chastising it does not actually change how people engage in the market day to day. So at the moment, this kind of animal spirits seem to be, still clinging on for dear life. We'll see. We do have a rally in bonds, a burgeoning rally in bonds, which I've been pointing to. TLT is kind of rising off a criminal low that it put in recently. So I would say watch the TLT and see how that's trending. If it starts to trend higher, well then we're gonna. That does suggest a shift in, let's say, risk preferences, let's say. So for the moment, people are still willing to pay through the nose for overvalued stocks. What are you going to do? Let's move on. Speaking of paying through the nose for something, let's speak about gold. And nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to speak about, an overpriced gold market. But we are in a gold bubble, I think, at the moment. Verifiable gold bubble. That doesn't mean it won't continue, but I think at the moment, I think we have exceeded all expectations for this wave B top, and we still haven't completed a satisfactory fourth wave correction. So it should be a still within a corrective move, but I am looking for a significant decline in gold. We do have 3 waves up. We do have a throw over above the upper trend line in wave C, and I think this should resolve with a quite an impulsive decline into wave C of 4. And that should bring us about down below 2,500 again, maybe as low as 24. The previous fourth wave low is down at 2290, so maybe even as far as 2290. And if you look at the daily count, it's not a major stretch down to the previous fourth wave low. So watch that space. The hourly count shows a completed pattern in wave C. Still ain't got a turn though, so it's much like I would really people tend to view gold as some sort of panacea, some sort of protect all against all, and it's not. It just isn't. It's all it is another asset, and at this point, it's an asset that doesn't pay, and soon enough, it's an asset that won't pay to hold it. I have nothing against precious metals. I quite like them in the long term, but short term here, I'm not a fan. But we haven't got a turn yet, so I'm the fool until that happens. So let's see. Watch this space. Let's see how that goes over the next week. Crude oil has been playing along quite well. A second wave lower high again. We broke out of that previous high, but we still, in general, we're still turning down into a fifth wave out of a fourth wave correction, a fourth wave triangle, turning down into a fifth wave, and we've got a 1-2 pattern out of that. So this week we've had, or over the last couple of weeks, we've had a nice impulsive decline again. So we are beginning to get close to, the lows of the 20s, lows of the last 5 years. We're going to challenge that pretty soon, I think. In fact, that's only down at $63. So once we get there, there's no reason we can't go much lower. And I would actually expect wave 5 of C to bring us much lower. Here's the 4-hour count. We're looking for this wave 1 down pattern to retrace the previous wave B. Now, it is possible that we have wave 1 done and we look higher into wave 2. We'll see how that goes. But for the moment, still tracking a 1-2 pattern to begin that larger wave 1. See here on the 4-hour count, this larger wave 1 in blue should retrace the previous wave C rally. So that gives us about $66 as a target for wave 1 in blue. Interestingly enough, wave C just topped out below equality with wave A, so it was a perfect 3-wave correction. Internally, it was a little bit tough to figure out because we had this long, protracted triangle for wave B, and then a nice solid 5-wave pattern up in wave C, and a nice solid 5-wave pattern down to begin wave 1 of 3 of 5. So long term, I think we're going down. In the short term, we still have a couple of glitches to figure out, but I think at the moment, I'm going to stick with this 1-2, 1-2 pattern to begin a third wave. In the short term, I'm actually looking up for the end of this week, looking for a wave C of 2 to complete probably around $73, $73.10, something like that. And then next week look lower again into wave 3. Okay, let's move on. It's the S&P. Again, we are actually holding lower highs here, so there is a possibility that that previous high was the complete wave B, that large degree wave B here. And that, in the short term, that's actually what I'm tracking, a series of 1-2s. But again, there's no confirmation of that yet. We've had two nice impulsive declines. That could be a three-wave decline. I don't know. For the moment, it fits the bill on the short term to kind of look lower, but that does need confirmation pretty quick. We've got a failure below the high at wave 2, and with a bit of luck today, we'll have a failure below the high again at a lower degree wave 2, and then accelerate lower into wave 3. But it would be great to finish the week with an impulsive decline in wave 3 of 3, but it's up for debate. It's up for debate still. Those animal spirits won't let go just yet. Now, we did change the count in silver. It just a large degree 5-wave pattern in wave 1. Instead of getting the 1-2-1-2 pattern, we've got 5 waves down in wave 1 and 3 waves up in wave 2. It's pretty straightforward. On the hourly count, you can see wave 2 in green has topped out, as you might expect, with a throwover at the previous 4th wave high. So we've challenged that high, and then we've turned lower again. If we track that high there. So we challenged it, broke it, turned lower, failed. So we've got an internal pattern in wave 2 green, pretty solid internal pattern. So we've got 3 waves up in A, 3 waves down in B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in C. You could actually say that's a triple 3. You could say it's a combination wave as well, but it doesn't change the let's say the impetus of this wave count. We've got a second wave lower high, and we're looking for an acceleration lower into wave 3. So we'll see how that goes. And that is that. Might actually come back with another update tomorrow to finish the week, seeing as I have been, absent so often of late. There's a lot going on this week, apart from the markets. I do want to I always end my presentation of the markets with a presentation of the gospel. That's the good news of Jesus Christ. But obviously, you should all search out who the Messiah is. It is Jesus, and you should give your life to the Messiah, follow him, and that'll take care of your eternity. And then you can go on with your trading day and enjoy the markets as God would allow you to do. But something so interesting happened this week that I just wanted to point out a couple of scriptures that I think are fitting for this time. And this one actually in the book of Zechariah is just mind-blowing. The chapter is titled "The Judgment on Israel's Enemies," and the word of the Lord came. It says the word of the Lord is against the land of Hadrach, and it will come to rest on Damascus. So Damascus is getting a judgment. For the eyes of all the people and all the tribes of Israel are on the Lord. So God is saying that the tribes of Israel are turning back to the Lord. And Hamath too, which borders it, and on Tyre and Sidon, though they are very skillful. So we're talking about Lebanon here, Tyre and Sidon. Tyre has built herself a stronghold, and she's heaped up silver like dust, and gold like dirt of the street. But the Lord will take away her possessions, and destroy her power on the sea, and she will be consumed by fire. So Tyre, standing for Lebanon, will be consumed by fire. Interesting how that just happened. Ashkelon, which was a Canaanite city, Philistine city, will see it in fear. So the Philistines will see it in fear. And Gaza will writhe in agony. Has Gaza not been writhing in agony? And according to God, this is judgment from God. And Ekron too, for her hope will wither. Gaza will lose her king, and Ashkelon will be deserted. So Gaza will lose their king. So Hamas is gone. Now this one, you just have to kind of smile when you read this. A mongrel people will occupy Ashdod, and I will put an end to the pride of the Philistines. So the pride of the Philistines, what is the pride of the Philistines? Well, it's their leadership. It's the group which they hoisted up into power, isn't it? It's the group that they sing about and chant about, and they say that they are, the people of Muhammad Daif. But God puts an end to the pride of the Philistines. And interestingly enough, a mongrel people will occupy Ashdod. That's actually the Hebrew word means a mixed race people will occupy the land of the Philistines. Ashdod is part of the historical land of the Philistines, eh? So this week we just had the president of the quintessential mixed race people. That would be the US, president of the US, saying that he will occupy Gaza. Interesting, eh? So God says he will take the blood from their mouths, that is the Philistines, and the forbidden fruit or food from between their teeth. And those who are left will belong to our God and become a clan in Judah. So Gaza will become a clan in Judah. And Judah is, the province of Judah centered around Jerusalem. And Ekron will be like the Jebusites. The Jebusites were destroyed. But I will encamp at my temple to guard it against marauding forces. Interesting enough, God's going to come back to his temple. Never again will an oppressor overrun my people, for now I am keeping watch. So then we have the verse about the Messiah. Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on the foal of a donkey. So that was when Jesus rode into Jerusalem. So I do think that the Jews are going to, soon enough, recognize Jesus as their Messiah, Yeshua. So I will take chariots from Ephraim and the war horses from Jerusalem, and the battle bow will be broken, and he will proclaim to the nations. His rule will extend from sea to sea and from the river to the ends of the earth. So the Messiah will take away all marauding and attacking chariots from the lands of the Jews, and he will rule. And here we go. As for you, because of the blood of my covenant with you, I will free your prisoners from the waterless pit. What's a waterless pit? Would it not be a tunnel? An underground tunnel? Return to your fortress, you prisoners of hope. Even now, I announce that I will restore twice as much to you. I will bend Judah as I bend my bow, and fill it with Ephraim. So God is going to use the Jews as an army. And I will rouse your sons, Zion, against your sons, Greece, and make you like a warrior's sword. And then God said that he will appear over them, an arrow that will flash like lightning. The sovereign Lord will sound the trumpet, and he will march in the storms of the south. And God himself will shield the Jews. But interestingly enough, Jesus said that, as lightning flashes from the east to the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. So Jesus said he will return with lightning flashing, and this is what Zechariah is seeing here. They will destroy and overcome with sling stones. David's sling? Anybody ever see that missile system? David's sling? And they will drink and roar as with wine, and they will be full like a bowl, used for sprinkling at the corners of the altar. The Lord their God will save his people on that day as a shepherd saves his flock. They will sparkle in his land like jewels in a crown. How attractive and beautiful they will be. Grain will make the young men thrive, and new wine, young women. So Zechariah saw a time when Gaza would be destroyed, when a mixed race people would take over, and occupy that land. And he saw a time when the Messiah would come back and reign over them from there's the let's say the land that was granted to them from the sea to the sea. Not from the river to the sea now, Palestinians, it's from the sea to the sea. His rule would extend from sea to sea and from the river to the ends of the earth. So Jesus will rule the whole earth when he comes back. There is another scripture there in Zephaniah, which I wanted to also, finish with actually. It was Zephaniah, a prophecy about Gaza. It says, Gaza will be abandoned and Ashkelon left in ruins. At midday, Ashdod will be emptied and Ekron rooted up. Interesting. So we're speaking here about the Philistines, the modern day Philistines, Gaza being abandoned. Woe to you who live by the sea, you Kerahite people. The word of the Lord is against you, Canaan, land of the Philistines. He says, I will destroy you and none will be left. And the land will be turned into wells for shepherds and pens for flocks. And it will belong to the remnant of Judah. So if you don't like that, that means you don't like what God is going to do and has been doing. So Gaza will be abandoned, according to Zephaniah, according to God. And this is all happening this week. So scriptures are real. God is real. Jesus is the Messiah. Put your faith in him. He's coming back soon. All right. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Check out bowlers.org. And for everybody else, I'll be with you tonight in the nightly update. Bye-bye. God bless.